What's up, everybody, and welcome to today's video. I'm answering another subscriber question from the community tab, so go there if you ain't gone there yet. It's at the top of the page, and it's where I get to interact with you guys because we're a community. Hey, listen, today's question comes from Gordon Richards. And Gordon, I'm not sure why you capitalized your last name but not your first name, but if you go into the settings, account settings at the top, you can edit that and go ahead and capitalize your, kind of anal about some of those, and it just bugs me that your last name Richards is capitalized but Gordon isn't. So anyway, Gordon Richards asked, can I use Topwater in the fall? Bro, are you serious? Absolutely. Let me give you my rule for Topwaters. I use Topwaters as long as I can possibly get away with it. I use different Topwaters at different times, and I'm gonna do a 5 Topwaters and when to use them type video really soon. But to answer this question, to set the table for that video, here's the deal. I use Topwaters on the way down in temperature. So in the fall, as the temperatures are dropping, all the way to 55, 54 degrees, okay? I start using it again at 55 to 57, 58, depending on the conditions, the warming trend, how fast the trend is coming up. But in the fall, right, which is the specific question that you asked, Gordon, I use Topwater in the fall. And here's why. I'll refer back to another video where I talked about a concept called turnover. What people don't think about is the fact that in the fall, as we're transitioning to winter, especially early to mid to even into the late part of fall, that the outside air temperature is colder at night than it is during the day. So it cools that upper part of the water column. Cold water is heavier than warm water. So it sinks. By sinking, it forces the warm water to the top. So until that water column is the same temperature primarily from the top to the bottom, or until that upper part of the water column is not dense enough to force the other colder water below it to sink, which is called stratification, the water continues to turn over, a process we call in the fall turnover, right? You've probably heard that, and a lot of people don't even know what it means. Well, that's the simple explanation of turnover. So, to answer your question and to explain to you why not only is it effective, but it's almost more effective than any other time. One, the bass have to feed up. They have to prepare for the winter, so they're a lot more aggressive. They want to expend the least amount of energy for the maximum amount of return. In other words, they want a caloric benefit, not a caloric deficit. They want to spend less energy capturing something than they're going to get in return. So a lot of times Topwaters are bigger. A lot of times you fish them like walk the dog style baits a lot slower. So they don't have to chase it down like a buzz bait, which I do use buzz baits, but a lot of times what I do for bigger fish is I fish those frogs, hop, hop, stop, or I fish a popper, bloop, bloop. I fish a stick bait with a slow walk. I might even give it a wider arc, right? Or I'll even fish wake baits and shallow running type baits that are fished just like a topwater, meaning I will fish them rip, rip, and they go down and they climb back to the top, rip, rip, and they go down. So I'm still fishing topwater, but I'll fish a wake bait or a shallow running crankbait as a topwater, and it does really well. Something else that I kill it with in the fall is to fish a jerk bait as a topwater. So I may go to a mono leader, which I almost never do on a jerkbait. I almost always use fluorocarbon, but I'll go to sometimes even a 20, 25 pound mono leader tied to 30 pound braid, 20 pound braid, depending on the setup. Cast that jerkbait out, rip it down, and it goes to down 3, 4, 5, 6 inches below the surface. And that mono is buoyant, so it makes, not only does that bait want to rise naturally, but that mono helps it. And then I rip it down and it rises up, and they flat smash a jerkbait then. Everybody knows about jerkbait fishing the traditional way. I like to rip, rip, stop, and it looks like an injured bait fish on the top. It says to that bass, easy meal. It says to that bass, hey, come eat me, I'm not going anywhere. And it says to that bass, you're gonna get a lot of return for a little bit of effort, so I smash them with that technique. So to answer your question, absolutely. Not only could you fish fall or topwater in the fall, you should fish topwater in the fall because the bass are feeding up. They're aggressive. The days are shorter, so a lot of times their feeding window is smaller, It's an easy meal, but more importantly, if you think about the water column, if you think about the fact that that warmer water is getting forced to the top, the upper part of the water column is going to be the warmest, and that's a lot of the reason why in the early fall, a lot of times the fish are pushed up on the banks, or they're pushed up on top of humps, right? It's because they're feeding, or they're suspended in treetops like the flooded timber that I've been fishing the last couple of days. They're up at the top. It might be 30 foot of water, but they're suspended in the first 2 or 3 feet of a tree. Here comes that floop, 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 easy meal. Easy meal comes slinking by, and they grab it and they hide right back in their spot. So not only could you fish a topwater in fall, Gordon, Little G Richards, you should absolutely fish a topwater in the fall, like all the way until it's too cold to do it. Just, yeah, until that surface water temp's 55 or less, fish it. You'll do well, I promise. Little spooks for smallmouth in the fall on points and humps and in river bends and outside creek channel edges is one of my most, enjoyable ways to fish. So absolutely, fish a topwater. Anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. Smash that thumbs up button. Don't forget to leave a comment. Turn on the notifications bell. And go follow me here. Wait, did I do that right? Go follow me. Well, follow me wherever the floating image of my social handles is around my head. Follow me, and if you can't find it, there's a link in the description box as well. Just go down there and click on it. It'll take you right to it. So love y'all, appreciate you.